The Buss family is selling off 66% of the Lakers, and the Lakers are valued at $10 billion. Okay, you do the math, 66%, that's $6.6 billion or so in the pockets of Tommy Boy and Tommy Girl and all of the Buss family that has run the LA Lakers. And I have to be totally honest with you. I think we're looking at this all wrong. I think we're looking at this all wrong. Because what has a tendency to happen, and Jason just shared it with me, and I didn't actually even think of it that way. Jason's a lifelong Los Angelino, right? I mean, technically it's from Orange County, but whatever. We all get lumped in kind of the same bucket. And his childhood mirrored mine. Though I wasn't born in California, moved to Orange County when I was 6. So our childhood, the Lakers seemingly were always good. And they had the best broadcaster, Chick Hearn. Chick Hearn and Stu Lance, your Lakers basketball network. They had the most famous coach. They had one of the two or the three biggest names in all the NBA, seemingly at all times, right? It was Magic and Kareem, and then Worthy, and then Magic, and then ultimately gave way to Shaq and Kobe, and then to LeBron. Like, it's the Lakers. And so we have a tendency when these things happen to look at the Lakers and think of the dynamics. And I even heard Collins say they went from analog to digital right away. It's true. The Lakers have been a mom and pop. And my guess is you bring all that private equity money in, and it's going to be a well-oiled machine, but run very, very differently, very much profit first. But I don't think that's the story. Because if you just take the Lakers, you say, okay, well, maybe they didn't want to sell, but $10 billion, everybody has its price. And that's fair. We do realize that in the last calendar year or so, the Celtics have been sold. The Mavericks have been sold. And if you go back to last summer, Michael Jordan sold basically a controlling stake in the Charlotte Hornets. There are 30 NBA teams. 30 NBA teams. The two most historic franchises have both been sold in the last calendar year. So if we look at this just like you look at real estate, and you say, yeah, of course, finance guys end up buying these teams. That tracks. That makes sense. Those guys have just seemingly untold sums of money. If you look at it from the perspective of ownership, now the Lakers can go to a spending war with the Clippers, because the Clippers, well, are owned by Steve Ballmer, who's worth untold billions of dollars, and it's all just a decimal point to him. He's the most valuable owner in sports, and he's done an incredible job of building the arena and supporting the team. But I think the bigger story is that whether it's the cost of doing business or the franchises topping out in terms of their valuation, the fact that you've had 4 of them sold during this short period of time, including the 2 most historic franchises sold, albeit for crazy money. The point is that these are assets you usually don't sell. These are forever homes. And yet they've been sold. Heck, throw in the Portland Trailblazers, who are being sold. And now you got 5 of 30. That's 1/6 the teams of the NBA. And if really, really smart people who have made a lot of money or who have inherited a lot of money have these teams, and they're being advised to take the big check and say, I'm done here. And remember, if it's about money in the short term, like, you don't have a lot of money, if your franchise is valued at $8, $9, $10 billion and you're the owner, you can, in fact, take out a loan. My guess is that the next wave of contracts, because of the new collective bargaining agreement, feels like it's going to be such a heavy burden to not only win in the NBA, but look what happened to the Golden State Warriors after they won another title. You just get luxury taxed to death, and you're constantly writing checks. You lose money on a daily and yearly basis. And when we say you lose money, it's not like you're losing $100 or even $100,000. You're losing millions. And at some point, it only makes sense to sell. And when 5 of 30 are saying now is the time, it tells you all you need to know about running a business in the NBA or owning a team in the NBA. That the old guard, and it's not even that old a guard, Mark Cuban cashed out. I'm good. I'm done. I don't need the hassle. I don't need the constant political fight. I don't need the expenses. And it is, in fact, a business, and much like a business. I remember having a conversation with a buddy of mine who runs a restaurant in Oklahoma, and it was right after COVID. He's like, we just can't find people to work. We give bonuses for people for just coming to work. Now, imagine running an NBA team where you have all the issues and you don't hire concessions people. You don't hire, but you do hire your own staff. But everyone feels that as it's harder and harder to get people to go to work. And then the top paid people in all of sports, in all of entertainment, by and large, are athletes and NBA players want to work less, want to get paid more. That's the narrative for all people. And they will be paid more, substantially more. And they have so much power in the market that it makes it really hard to balance your budget and still find a way to win basketball games. Yeah, my takeaway is just different. I'm looking at this, and we're hyper focusing on the Lakers and on the end of the Buss family era. And we're going to sit back and say, this is actually no different than crypto replacing staples. Right? A cryptocurrency became a real thing, not when it gained all its value, but when it put their name on the most known arena in the Western United States. Instead of looking at this like it's a Laker story and eventually they'll clean house and you bring in a new owner and he's going to cut ties with, and my guess is he has ties with Magic Johnson, and it wouldn't surprise me if Magic Johnson gets his revenge and people who he didn't feel were loyal to him will be out in the very near future. Just a guess. But to me, the story is that the two most historic franchises in the NBA, both are being sold, obviously for record sums, and the only possible explanation is cost of doing business is high and getting higher. The valuations are at their peak and feels like it's buttoned up against the ceiling. And really smart people are saying, I think I'm good here. I'll take the money and let somebody else do the hassle of being the owner of an NBA team.